Alrighty guys, so back here working on this 2017 Cruze right now, and currently I'm getting this motor and transmission out of here. Sorry about the mess a little bit. That happens on, big jobs like this. So basically, I took all the fuse box and the coolant reservoir and the motor, the transmission mount on this side. I went ahead and got the axles pulled off. What I had to do is I actually had to cut the lower ball joints off because both lower control arms were so tweaked that I could not get them to come out the knuckle. So I had to cut those off. But right now, I'm working on going ahead and getting this engine out of here. So let's not get caught on that bolt. Oh, don't know what happened up over here. So let's go ahead and get this. Go ahead and make sure we're not getting caught on anything over here. Looks like we're good. We're all good in the hood. Sorry about the videotaping. I'm a one-man show right now, so. While this is up in the air, I'll show you a little bit more of the damage. So this is the broken bolt off in the timing cover. Obviously the engine mount snapped, and if we look down here, that used to be an oil filter. I don't like that it's a Mighty filter, but it used to be an oil filter. But here's the oil pan. Honestly, I'm not 100% sure that this motor's gonna be good, but I'm gonna throw a pan on it. Well, I'm gonna take this off and see about, what's damaged or not. But I will throw a new pan on it and throw it back in the car to see if it works. I'm gonna take that risk. So, yeah, here it is. Look how dented it is. And pull the axle out of the cup. Oops. Oh well. But I thought the transmission was cracked because there was a lot of oil on the bottom. But thank God it looks perfect. So hopefully we're good on the transmission there. So there we go. Damn! Alright guys, we're back. So what I'm gonna be working on today is I'm gonna try to remove this subframe if I get to it. Kind of stressing getting up under that steering wheel and disconnecting the intermediate shaft, but what I've went ahead and started doing is I'm drilling out the spot welds for these subframe mounts. As you can tell, this one is absolutely destroyed. That one is bent where the bolt goes in, and this one's kinked right there. But this one back here is perfectly fine, perfectly straight. The bolt is straight, and the subframe is totally mangled. But I'm just plugging and chugging, going ahead and getting all these subframe mounts taken off, and then when I get a little bit further, I'll check back in with you guys. All right, guys, I'm back here working on this 2017 Chevy Cruze. So I've got this driver's side fender taken off. I went back to the junkyard and I was able to score this piece right here, which all I need is I'm gonna take this whole tab off right here. That bolts the fender to. I'm gonna drill out all those spot welds and spot welded up to there because that bracket was all mangled. Also, the front subframe bracket that goes right here, I got that as well. So I need to drill out this spot welds and take it off. Going through looking at this, I did notice something pretty crazy in here. So if we go in here, oh yes, the airbag's blown. But I noticed like it's not a lot of gap between the steering wheel and the dash there. Also, it looks like that stock is touching. And over here, it's completely broke off. So when they got in a crash, this person hit this so hard that they've broke the steering column and shoved it forward. So I picked this up at the junkyard. Brand new steering column. I also got the AC compressor. I got the windshield cowl that goes across. I got a couple other pieces, the washer reservoir, and just mostly frame pieces. So what I'm gonna start on right now is gonna remove the rest of the subframe. The only thing that I'm dreading about this is trying to get the bolts that hold this exhaust to the subframe. I just don't want to be crawling up under there. There's a lot of sharp objects and stuff, but this is the progress so far. I feel like I'm moving pretty fast on it. I've never done this type of work before, so I'm learning as I go. All right, guys, so I'm back working on this 2017 Chevy Cruze. Right now, I'm gonna work on removing the rest of this subframe right here. I've literally only got 2 more bolts left. What I've been working on is this frame rail right here. I went to the junkyard, I cut that whole frame piece off. I've got the spot weld drill bit. If you buy the right tools like this one, it makes your job a lot easier. So, went ahead and drilled that off that old frame rail. Now I got it sitting up here. It's not crushed, but it's the same color. So, I got that sitting up here. I got the new washer Joe. Just kind of got 1 bolt in it there, 1 bolt in it up there. Just kind of like positioning it out. What I want to do is go ahead and get this subframe taken out and get the subframe, the new subframe I got for it put in. So that way I can line up all the frame rails, get them pretty much as straight as I can before I start welding everything in. So all I got to do is get those 2 exhaust hanger bolts off of the cradle there. I've got 1 bolt holding it up there, and then the other things that are holding it on are these sway bar links. So I just got to buzz this top nut off, take that sway bar link off, and then hopefully everything should drop out. I've already got my jack sitting there just holding support on it so it don't fall on my head, and we'll see what happens. All right, guys, so I went ahead and got this crunched up subframe pulled out of there, and I've noticed a little bit more damage. So if we go up under here real quick, it had smacked that frame rail pretty good right there, but it doesn't appear to have moved the subframe mount bolt. That bolt came out perfectly straight. It was actually not even a bent bolt. The rest of the bolts are bent, but this one got smashed up pretty hard. As you can see right there, it's a little crunchy. But we can go ahead and just cut that out and replace it. This side is perfect, and this side's also perfect. What I did is I measured from the center of this hole to center of this hole on this side, and I went to the opposite side over here, and I measured from center of that hole to the center of that hole, and they match up perfectly. So I really don't think that this moved that mount at all. But I'm gonna bolt up the new subframe and check some measurements, and then I will figure it out. All right, guys, I'm back here working on this 2017 Chevy Cruze. So basically what I've done is I've got that old subframe removed. I had that motor mount right there. That whole bracket was removed. Also, this one was removed. So I got a new subframe. I put the subframe in it. All those bolt holes back there are good. So I used all those bolt holes, bolted them up. That bolt hole right there was still perfect. So I bolted that up, that one up over there. And I also bolted this one up and got it up in the exact position it needed to be. Then I went ahead and I welded this frame rail on, and I've welded this frame rail on right here. What I did is I used this weld through primer and sprayed all the bare metal underneath of it, front and back of these frame rails. Just basically, you know, what I did there. So that way I know it's protected from rust and elements. This stuff is pretty toxic, so I would recommend using a mask when spraying this. But that's how it looks right now. I'm still trying to locate this frame piece. So as soon as I find this frame rail horn, the subframe will go in and I'll start dropping everything in. All right, guys, I'm back here working on this 2017 Chevy Cruze. So as of right now, I've got the brand new subframe in, new mount, all new bolts, because all eight of the bolts were bent. There's two back here on this corner side, two back here on this corner side, one there, one there, one there, one there. So just got this frame rail all welded in there, all nice and good. So now all I've got to do is basically, you know, do some little grinding and painting on that. But other than that, new subframe's in. Starting to piece it back together. So, all right, guys. So it's a little short one here. I got the rack and the sway bar transferred over to the new subframe, and I officially have the subframe fully installed with all the bolts. It's not coming back out. Looks good. Everything's perfect. Measure from here to there is perfect. Here to there is perfect. Cross is perfect. Up and down, left to right. Okay, guys. Back here working on this 2017 Chevy Cruze. Sorry I don't record any of the work. I don't really have a good tripod or a way to like do a time lapse right now. But I'm here to show you my progress update. So as you can tell, I've got the motor and the transmission back in. I've got most of the coolant lines hooked up. Motor mount over here, transmission motor mount. All that's hooked in. Haven't done anything with the exhaust yet. It's still unhooked. I got the new AC, well, new used AC compressor on, because this right here was all knocked off. And as we can tell, the wiring that goes for there is also knocked off. I gotta figure out how I'm gonna get a connector on that. Also, if you look down here, you can tell brand new oil pan, upper and lower, that I installed. Looks good, looks good. I haven't yet degreased the motor. All this oil that you see everywhere, especially that right there, is because there's no oil filter on it right now. That's just dripping. But that's from the wreck and all the oil going everywhere. So I'll give this motor a good degreasing after I get this all finished up. But yeah, it's sitting in there. It's sitting in there pretty perfect. You know how it was. The intake is not touching the firewall no more. I still gotta straighten this out a little bit, which isn't bad at all. I mean, it's just barely bent. So gotta deal with that a little bit. Brand new intake manifold. Well, not brand new, but brand used intake manifold. Fuel lines are hooked up, evap lines are hooked up, everything's hooked up. So all I've got to do is, I forgot about this Tecum cover right here. if you look right here, you can see that it's broken. It's all mangled and it's actually leaking. So I got a new Tecum cover on the way. If you come up here, this is the air pump for the brakes. The nipple on it broke off into the line, so I got to remove that nipple out of that line. I've got a whole new valve assembly to go in there coming. Other than that, you know, everything, it looks good. Hopefully from here on, everything is going to be all butter. But one thing I do got to find is I don't have any radiator, condenser, intercooler. The intercooler is my, you know, I'm more worried about finding an intercooler for this because I don't really want to start it without an intercooler. It's going to run like crap, so I'd much rather find an intercooler for it before I go ahead and start it up and do all that fancy stuff. So, but yep, motor's in there. It looks really good. I don't have the forward, you know, the rotation mount that hooks up to the subframe. I don't have that bolt in there yet. I still got to work on that. So this is my progress with it. I got the transmission cooler hooked up. It's just dangling there, but it is all bolted up there. All right, guys, back at you here with another one. So I finally got the Tecum cover on, so I'm gonna go ahead and swap that out. But this round, I'm gonna try to set this up on a makeshift tripod to see if I can actually record some of this process for you guys. So honestly, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this charge pipe out real quick, which isn't a big deal. There's just a little C-clip right here. You stick a flathead screwdriver in right there. You pull that back, and this will unlock. Then you just got a little 10 mil down here, holding it on right there. And then that charge pipe will come right out. I'll get on it. Clip out. Now onto this 10 mil. Ten mils out. Hopefully, in theory, this charge pipe should just pop right out just like that. And we can just snake it out of the engine bay. There we go, the whole charge pipe. I'm so glad that I honestly don't have to replace this. I'm glad this piece is pretty good because this thing don't look cheap. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna jump down here. I'm gonna set the camera up and I'm gonna set up a time lapse and I'm gonna attack this on a time lapse. So I'll see you guys here in a minute. Okay guys, got the Tecum cover off of here. Just something I noticed real quick is right behind the Tecum, the valve body, there's pieces in here wiggling around. Now I'm not too sure if that's normal or not, but I honestly don't see how it would have broke or why it would have broke. This pan literally had just a small bit of damage just down here. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna clean up this maintenance surface, make sure it's all nice and clear and for clean the surface, and we'll go ahead and get it done. I just wanted to show you these covers side by side. That's the old one, that's the new one. Here on the old one, there is a crack where the gasket channel rides right there. So it would have definitely leaked. This one, brand new. So let's go ahead, let's get this one installed and get done with this job. Well, it looks like I forgot to hit the record button when I put this all back together for you guys, but it's all back together.